Calling the meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Belsley.
Here.
Dobb.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Herman. Here. Kaufman.
Here.
Newhouse.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Let's have a pledge allegiance to the flag. That should do in the corner there, I think. We'll get it over here where we usually have it. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public hearings tonight. We're going to have a special presentation, though, for some of our auxiliary police that are here tonight. Chief?
Thanks, Your Honor. Part of our department is comprised of a volunteer group of members of the community that form our Morton Auxiliary Police Department. And with that, they put in several hours for us, and as many of you know, we have a lot of events that our tourism director organizes, and they work those. There were some 42 last year that they did. But there are eyes for our tornado watches and storms. There are spotters out there, and they do a lot of training with that, as well as other training that they do and work down at our firing range, involved with other areas of the community. And back about 2004, there became a presidential award for volunteer service. And for those that achieve 100 hours or greater, they're honored with that award. We had 7 members of our unit that achieved that amount of hours or greater this year. We have a few that are absent tonight, and I'd like to recognize them by giving their names as well as the hours that they put in. Dave Gamber put in 116 and a half hours. Ken Lopez, 150 hours. And Joe Stidman, who was sort of the Iron Horse, put in 228 and a half hours. And Heidi Tyner, 121 hours. Those members that are present, that are here, and will receive a pin as well as a certificate are Todd Glasscock with 153 hours. Todd? Art Netherton with 144 hours. Bob Willis with 106 and a half hours. And accepting on behalf of the unit itself, which had 2,060 hours total, is the Captain Craig Zare. Again, I'd like to thank all the guys on the auxiliary department for all the assistance that they give our regular staff and as well as the community. Thank you, guys.
Next on the agenda is an opportunity for public comment. I notice there's some folks here from CVS. If you'd like to save your comments until we discuss your issue, that'd be fine. Is there a request from the audience to pull anything from the agenda, from the consent agenda? How about from the trustees? Would anyone like to pull something? What would that be?
One item, the minutes.
The minutes. Anything else? Can I have a motion to approve the remaining items?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, if I knew. Call the roll.
Pelsley.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Herman. Kaufman.
Yes.
Newhouse.
Trustee Belsley?
Yeah, it's just two clerical items to correct that I saw. And the first one, the pages aren't numbered for the minutes, but it would be under my section. At our last meeting, we approved the purchase of a building from Morton Buildings, and the dollar amount there that was approved is $25,450. It should be $24,450, just a thousand less than what the numbers there. And then the other item is just on the back end, the last page of the minutes. And I'm not sure how we correct this one, but it shows that Trustee Kaufman moved to adjourn, and I believe he was not present the last meeting. And although he's very good at making motions in seconds, he's not that good.
No, wait a minute, Randy.
So you might have to just,
Might have slipped in.
you might have to just look at the audio.
I'll
or
pull
the
my
video.
sheet.
Yeah, and do it. And with those two changes, I would make a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Second. Let the record show that
So
Jeff,
moved second. So moved second.
yeah, let the record show that Jeff is indeed here tonight.
Who moved?
Randy?
Randy moved.
I second.
Jeff seconded.
Do you have to call this?
Take a voice vote.
Voice vote, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? CVS has formally requested a license to sell beer and wine here in Morton. Unfortunately, they don't meet the requirements of our present ordinance. What I'd like to ask the trustees tonight, and just for a consensus, see if we can get a majority consensus to revisit our ordinance to change it so they would qualify. This would, I think, and I'll defer to Pat, this would, I think, require removing some of the grocery store features, maybe looking at who can touch and who can sell the beer and wine. And of course, there is the issue of our restrictions against selling gasoline, which I think don't meet state statutes. So what I'd like to do is get comments from all the trustees and see if we're willing to have this ordinance revisited. So-
What does the gasoline not meet the state statute? What do you mean by that?
I would say you wouldn't necessarily have to revisit that particular issue as a part of this discussion. If you were to look at updates to your liquor restrictions, that may be another issue that requires some further opinion from council as to whether the way your ordinance is worded presently with regard to that particular restriction is or is not appropriate. But you would not necessarily have to deal with that as a part of this same discussion.
This doesn't have anything to do with CVS. The attorney had just told me that's an inappropriate, and we're going to change the ordinance. We might as well fix that.
Can someone say that a little bit more clearly for us slow folks out here? Try that. Try that one
Let me ask
again.
it this way. Is it illegal what we're doing or incorrect, or we can't govern gasoline? Because that might have an effect on what we do here.
Well, I would tell you two things. One, what's on your agenda is CVS specific, and that would be separate and apart from the restriction on being able to sell liquor where gas is sold. I have not done any substantive research, so I'm remiss to give you an opinion. Tom shared a memo with me today, but I don't know what level of research he's done into it, so I don't want to express an opinion on his behalf. So I would defer to him for a substantive opinion on that. But I would kind of kick the can down the road, and I apologize for doing that, but better to do that than put my foot in my mouth, so.
Yep, no, just thank you for making us aware of it.
Any comments on whether or not we should have council take a look at the ordinance to modify it in such a way that it would accommodate CVS?
Yeah, and we're not voting, of course.
We're
or
only
anything,
voting to
but just
decide whether or not to have
sure,
council
to investigate it
modify it
further.
and bring it back for a vote.
I would be open to that, sure.
Trustee Dobb, how about you?
Well, I don't think it's necessary, but that's my opinion.
Okay. One yes, one no.
Yeah, I'm still confused by the earlier conversation, I have to admit. There's and I get as far as I'm saying that kind of facetiously. I get essentially of whether we act or not of whether gas stations can sell. If we modify this specifically, whether we can exclude or include gas station into this is really what we were saying before. So. And I totally understand where you're at. I am open to looking at it. I'm not going to commit either way on that. I'd like to hear when Pat or Tom have a little bit more time to look at it and see what it means. Because for me, again, voting on the specific act of it, today's effect and tomorrow's effect mean a lot. So I'd like to see have a little bit better picture as to what's going to happen there. And then I actually just kind of did the same thing that you did. So I'll pass it on now from there.
Before skipping down the line, maybe I should be a little more direct in clarifying things. There is, at the very least, concern about the gas station issue as to whether that's a proper regulation. That being said, the issue to CVS's request is they don't meet your eligibility requirements because of the restrictions you put in when you opened up retail sale of liquor in grocery stores. So the changes that have to be made are relatively known at this juncture, and they're all changes and restrictions you made when you allowed the sale of alcohol at grocery stores. So the inquiry is whether you're willing to consider revisiting or revising those in light of CVS's request. And the gas station thing's just a tag along because when eyes were set on the liquor ordinance, that became an issue that would not have to be resolved as a part of this. But that specifically is a process that has to be undertaken in order to allow their request, is changing some of the restrictions you have in place that you put in with the grocery store. So.
Trustee Herman?
Thank you, Your Honor. I actually went back and tried to watch the meeting. I checked out the ordinance for the Class D license. I think it was approved in December of '08, after weeks, if not maybe a couple months, of compromise and negotiation with a segment of our citizens. And my recollection is that those of us that were on the board at that time, which I guess is this end of the table, basically promised our citizens that it would only be opened up to grocery stores. And I tried to watch the video of that meeting, but on our website, it's just goes back to 2011. So I've asked the clerk if he could get the recordings of that meeting. But as I recall, we were very specific about wanting to limit it to grocery stores. And that's the reason for these restrictions that you see in here in regard to square footage and the percent of sales that must be from groceries, et cetera. I would like to watch that again myself, but I remember, as I recall, if my memory serves me correctly, that I specifically asked the question of council during the meeting, what would prevent this from being in a convenience store, a drugstore, or a gas station, and he mentioned those specific things. It was specifically written so that it would only be open for grocery stores, beer and wine in grocery stores, and with some pretty serious restrictions that were agreed upon. So that's my memory. I'd like to see if my colleagues that were on the board at that time have a similar memory, but that's kind of where I'm at.
So-
I think that we promised, I mean, in my mind, we kind of, as part of the compromise, gave our word, or at least said that our intent was just to have it in grocery stores. I'd like to watch the meeting again. Verify that.
I think we had some intent at the time to keep it in the grocery stores, but 6 years later, I'd be willing to look at it. And I would also want to hear from CVS tonight, so I can think about that for the next couple of weeks.
Trustee Newhouse?
Opposed?
It's a tie. I'm used to that. Before I say anything, I wonder if CVS would like to make any kind of a statement.
Good evening. My name is Larry Cohen. I'm the attorney for CVS in Illinois. On my right is Eric Schoolcraft. He's the district manager. And on his right is Philip Alvey, who's the store manager. Basically, we do a whole lot of advertising in the state of Illinois. And we have approximately 250 stores in Illinois, of which 80% have alcohol. We're not asking you to allow us to place packaged goods, complete packaged goods in our store. As a result of all this advertising, there are all of our customers continually ask us as to where the alcohol is located in our stores. And unfortunately, in this particular store, they say there isn't any alcohol. And they've come to realize that CVS is like a one-stop shop. You know, it's not only the pharmacy and so forth, but we provide other things, certain types of groceries and so forth, and sundry items and the like. And in each one of our stores, we provide a very safe environment for the sale of alcohol. We have various safety features. All of our clerks that sell alcohol are over 21. They have been, we have in-house training, which takes place every 6 months. They are also Bassett trained, and we provide a zero tolerance level. That means if something should happen in one of these stores where there's a sale to a minor, and it rarely does happen, but if it should happen, the person that's responsible for selling these items is automatically terminated. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I must say, I got to tell you that my office is across the street of the Illinois Liquor Control Commission in downtown Chicago. And we have, I think maybe in the last 7 or 8 years, we may have had a couple of incidents in the entire state. So we are very cautious, we're very careful, we take it very seriously, and the amount of alcohol that we stock in our stores provides, it's probably approximately 5% of all retail sales. So it's not a huge factor. However, we want to please our customers, and that's basically the reason for it. Would you like to add anything here?
Just with the actual training, we do that twice a year, and we do now, if a certain colleague has not been trained at that deadline, or if they have not completed their training, they are no longer allowed to work in our stores until they complete the training. So if there's ever any tardiness to that, they're off the schedule. They must complete all of our liquor training before they're even allowed to continue working. So I just wanted to add that as well.
What about our safety features, such as register locks and security cameras and the like? Can you talk
On
about
our
that?
registers as well, it'll ask for the customer's birth date. So it automatically, if we scan an item, an alcohol item, it's going to ask for the birth date. So no way that item can be sold unless we have entered in a birth date that the register recognizes as being 21 or over. Also, we always have cameras in the actual alcohol aisles, so that area is monitored at all times as well. The items have what we call EAS tags on them, which alert as someone walks in or out if those haven't been deactivated. as well to alert the store personnel as well on that. So those are just a few of the other features that we offer.
In addition, the store is open, the hours, as you probably are aware, it's 7 days a week, from 7 in the morning until 9 in the evening. There are four full-time individuals in the store, which are the store manager and 3 shift supervisors. There are 4 part-time individuals that work approximately 17 to 22 hours a week. This is exclusive of the pharmacists. There are 2 full-time pharmacists and 3 full-time techs and 3 part-time techs. So totally there's approximately 8, 10, about 16 employees in this particular store. We're open to any questions you may have.
There being no questions, thank you.
I have one question.
Yeah.
20% of your stores do not have alcohol, is that correct?
Yeah,
Thank you.
approximately 20%,
Thank you.
statewide.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Cullen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He has one
Do
more
you
question.
anticipate locking up the liquor in the hours you're not able to sell it?
I'm sorry?
Do you anticipate locking up access to the liquor on the hours you're not able to sell it, that you're open?
If that were your request, we would do that.
Anything else?
My only additional comment as I'm sitting here listening to this, I think that we did discuss the pairing, if you will, of alcohol with food as our rationale for allowing it in the grocery stores as opposed to other locations.
Well, because it is a tie, even in consensus, I will weigh in. All we're looking for here is a beer and wine license. And probably the most important thing for me is I just signed 28 liquor licenses for the community, including Kmart and Walmart. I see no reason why we shouldn't grant them a liquor license. So I would like to suggest that there's a consensus 4-3 to at least have Tom take a look at the ordinance and bring it back to the Board of Trustees for review and vote.
Kmart?
When Kmart get one?
Excuse me,
Oh, yeah. I was gonna
Walmart.
say-
I'm
Yeah,
old, I
oh.
can't remember.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
You guys are paying attention, aren't you?
I guess it's worth commenting, Your Honor, that security is not the issue. I don't think anybody has been particularly concerned about security. And a lot of scary talk about that in the beer and wine discussion for the grocery stores. None of that materialized. Techniques exist to manage security. It is a range of other things, including the proliferation, the place where the line stopped, community standards that I think are at issue. So spend some time talking about security. In my mind, that's a non-issue.
And our commitment, as I recall, to the public at that time.
Well, at the next board meeting, everyone will have a chance to weigh in and vote it down or up or down. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator.
Tonight, I'm asking approval to transfer $409,000 from the general fund and $137,000 from the water and wastewater depreciation fund to the capital projects fund.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Second by Counselor, I think, or Sam. Nope, Sam. Call it.
Hare,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Newhouse.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Chief of Police.
I have a few things tonight, Your Honor. The first is the approval of resolution number 3-14. It's a resolution authorizing the execution of a law enforcement mutual aid agreement and the existence of formation of the Illinois law enforcement alarm system by intergovernmental agreement. The Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System is a mutual aid system for law enforcement that was developed in 2003. It came to be after the 9/11 attacks of 2001. They based their model after the mutual aid box alarm system, or MABUS, used by the fire service for many years, and they've modeled after that. What ILEAS has looked at is the modification of that. It developed in 2003. There's been no modifications to its agreement, which we are presently have a signed agreement with this. In the event that any law enforcement agency needs assistance from other law enforcement bodies, they call out a ILEAS call out, and those agencies that are able to give officers to assist send them. There are some 900 agencies which are members of this. The first call was the Utica tornado back in 2004. In addition to Illinois, we've also sent officers to assist with Katrina, the Sandy storm, the Super Sandy storm, as well as back with the up in Chicago with the NATO talks up there. And close to home, this is what Washington used to get help from there. Again, I tell you that there's been no modification since 2003 when this was first established. One of the things that tries to give a more clear and defined description of the governing board and what they're using. There will be no change as far as how the mutual aid comes. Again, if we are busy and we can't afford to send anyone to the call, we just don't send them. Then they continue to go farther down on their call out. I've given this to our village attorney, Tom Davies, to look at and review. He's supportive of that, and I would ask that we adopt this resolution.
Can I have a motion to put it on the table?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Ginger. Any questions of the chief? Any comments? Let's call the question.
Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Newhouse.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Next.
Resolution 4-14 is a resolution authorizing agreement with the Multi-County Enforcement Group. This is a group that, again, we've been a member of for many years, back since the 90s. It is agencies from the counties of Knox, Tazewell, Peoria, Woodford, those county agencies, as well as municipal agencies such as Washington, Chillicothe, Peoria Heights, ourselves, East Peoria, Pekin, to name some, as well as Bartonville. This we have a membership in. We pay a fee to be a part of that, which goes to a lot of our undercover narcotics stings and operations that we deal with that. One of the member agencies is the State's Attorney's Office from Peoria. Their attorney looked at our agreement, modified it a little bit, just the reason why they're looking to do the modification and the renewal now. There are many chiefs and sheriffs which are no longer there when the last agreement was signed for that. So with that in mind, I would again ask for a motion and approval of this agreement.
Motion by Dobb, second.
Second.
By Belsley. Any discussions or questions? Call the roll.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Newhouse.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Next.
And finally, ordinance 14-4, an ordinance adding Title 12, Chapter 7 to the Morton Municipal Code, reference the concealed carry provision. As you're probably well aware of, in January this year, concealed carry came into place for citizens of Illinois. Back as this was looking on, I had happened to mention at one meeting that we may want to look at this as far as an employee policy situation, whether or not we wanted our employees to be armed. while they're representing us. Though that they can't carry, by the concealed carry law, in public buildings, should it be the case, but they could still carry it within a public vehicles, public bodies' vehicles, or on their person when they're in and about. So we could have meter readers walking around carrying weapons while they're wearing Village of Morton uniforms and clothing, as well as within our vehicles. That is a risk management issue for the Village of Morton, and we've had some conversation with our new insurance company, and they have some concerns and issues with that as well. In speaking with our village attorney, we thought that it would be much neater and cleaner to draft an ordinance on this as opposed to just merely writing up a policy for the different agencies within the body. So I would ask that we look at this and make a motion.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Second by Newhouse. Any questions or discussion? Call.
Newhouse.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Does corporate counsel have anything this evening?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
How about the Director of Fire and Emergency?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works?
One item tonight in your packets is the Public Works recast for the month of April. All that tonight.
That's it? No discussion?
Yep.
That is too short.
I know. Next week.
No planning and zoning. Trustee Newhouse, did you want to say something?
It's under my agenda item, Your Honor. I will cover that.
Got it. Trustee Belsley?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Trustee Dobb?
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Hare?
I'll leave it to the other end, nothing tonight.
Trustee Herman?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have two items tonight. The first is the Tourism Grant Committee recommendations. In your packets, you should have received this information. The tourism grant money comes from our hotel motel tax, and the goal of these grants is to support events, help them grow, and at some point, hopefully they can sustain themselves. This year, we had 17 applications, and the total amount we had budgeted was $125,000, and the requested amount was $141,990. So we had to, work within our budget of $125,000. The process was that we have a fantastic tourism grant committee review, and each member of the committee reviewed the applications individually and scored them according to the criteria that we have in our ordinance. And then after that process, based on the amount of money that we actually had, events were judged based on their need, the logic of the amount that was being requested in light of the type of event, the tangible impact that benefits the city either at the time of the event or afterwards in building upgrades or that type of thing, or new events with potential. This year we have one new event, the Tazewell County Barn Quilt Tour, which is the last item listed, and that was offered to be funded at 100%. So I hope you've had a chance to review this. I would move to approve.
Second.
And if there's any discussion or questions on any of these,
I have a comment again. I
Sure,
made the
okay.
same comment last year.
okay.
And you said it in your beginning, that the idea is to help these events grow to where they eventually might sustain themselves. Well, the top three get the same amount as they got last year. Is there any accountability? Do they ever tell you what their expenses are and how much they bring in, or is this just free money?
They file a follow-up report, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Piles to come to the microphone and probably be able to respond better, but we try to look at the economic impact that they actually have on the community.
Isn't there also, when they're required that the people checking into the hotels actually what event they're at, so you can
Yes.
actually have a part of that
Yes,
as
we
well?
we do have surveys at the hotels during, they're really there all the time, but especially during our events. And we can tell you in the top 3, which are our sporting events, that our hotels are booked. They are filled with our teams. Our teams are booking these rooms months out because our tournaments that we do are very popular and people like to come to those. So when we talk to our hotel owners, and even one of the persons on our committee is also from the restaurants, these tournaments and these sporting events do bring in a lot of revenue into our community for a sustained period of time, up to from 3 to 5 days.
Okay, and I don't dispute that. I agree with that 100%. But are they making money on our money? Can that event sustain itself? And
At
they're
this
taking
point-
this money and putting it in their treasury or paying their coaches.
Well, we do have, they do have to submit a budget, and they do have to tell us what they're doing with this money. Right now, monies has always been used by those organizations to upgrade their fields or to add to their fields.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases.
No. I've done some investigating, and I know that some of them haven't contributed for many years to upgrading the fields. Some of them do a perfect job, some of them don't.
Okay? Of
But
these
does
three.
anybody held them accountable and
Well,
investigated?
of these 3 that are here, we do have one situation that we're dealing with right now. But of these 3, we can look at their fields, and they've added fields to their facilities, so that they can improve the amount of tournaments that they can do. So, for example, the girls softball partnered with the Park District to put in lights into the fields that are here at Birchwood, so that they would be able to do tournaments that would extend beyond the light period, because that would have been a hindrance before. that it
Right, I
got dark.
understand, and I know of that situation.
But we are monitoring all these situations right now, a little more strenuously.
They should be held accountable, because I know there are some instances where they're not doing anything.
Mhm.
And we shouldn't just be giving free money in those instances.
I agree.
So I think for next year, we should be taking some closer looks.
Okay.
This year is done, but for next year, I think we should take some closer looks
Okay.
and do more investigating.
Any other questions or comments?
Yep.
Any more things you'd like to say about this?
No, but along with what Tom just said, one of our committee members said these grants should not be taken for granted. And so.
Agreed.
Yes, okay. And the committee looked at it in that way, I can assure you. So, but I mean your point as well.
Would you call a question, please?
Elsley?
Yes.
Cobb?
Yes.
Hare?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Kaufman?
Yes.
Newhouse?
Yes.
Trustee Herman, item 2.
Yes, thank you. A few months ago, this is in regard to a possible proposal for the plaza recognition. A few months ago, the Downtown Development Committee and the EDC brought the concept of the plaza for village board approval, and that concept included some donor funding and recognition options at various levels, with some of the options to sponsor a particular feature or component of the plaza. And I've asked for all that information to be in your packet, so hopefully you received that. During the planning phase, the representatives of the veterans organizations expressed their preference that there be no corporate logos within the circle of honor, the inside circle of the actual memorial area. And since that time that we approved this, we're very grateful that some very generous donors have stepped forward to sponsor certain components of of the plaza concept, including one wishing to sponsor the Veterans Memorial area at the $50,000 level. So once that sponsor came forward, they were able to work with the veterans representatives to try to find an appropriate and respectful signage solution while protecting the sanctity of the inside circle of honor. And that is the proposal that you have before you tonight. And as you can see from this sketch, the actual donor recognition would be in the pavement, in the concrete, kind of etched, and I'm told it would be very subtle, right near the two entrances to the veterans area. So outside the circle, but as kind of a nod to their generous donation. I think it's a very reasonable proposition, a proposal, and I move to approve.
Second.
If you have any questions, I believe Mrs. Daly is here also, or I can try to answer.
Three-way tie for second.
Oh.
I had it. I
had
it. When we second something, we don't mess around.
Yeah, we get the replay.
Well, that sounds encouraging. So, okay.
Any questions or comments? Call the question.
Yes. Hare.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Newhouse.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Thank you,
Is
Your
that
Honor.
all,
That's all
Trustee
I
Newman?
have tonight. Thank you.
Trustee Kaufman.
Nothing to write.
Trustee Newhouse.
One item, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Spangler, who's not here this evening. We, from time to time, update the various codes, and in this case, we are talking about the municipal code that covers the electrical requirements, electrical code. All this does is bring us up to date with the 2014 code and make us consistent with Peoria and other communities around us. Recommend approval. So moved.
Second.
Another tie.
Mrs. Herman got it. And Mr. Newhouse got the previous one, so you know.
Try to spread it around.
Exactly.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Hare.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Newhouse.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Dobb.
Yes.
Unless someone has something else to add, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, since I adjourned the last meeting, I'll adjourn this one.
Second.
Seconded by Don. Call it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.